Yeah, good morning, my dear students. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Okay, nice to meet you. So, good morning. For today class, just let me to share the PPT. Okay, last class I just started this one, right? Today we will discuss it. Actually, yeah, I will unpin this one. Yeah, yeah. Last class I started this topic, right? This is our fourth unit. Significance of confinement in earthquake safe construction. Okay, so this I just started in the last class. Few slides we have already we have seen, right? So here I told you, in spite of several advantages of the mentioned, so in spite of several advantages of concrete, it has two disadvantages like low tensile strength and poor ductility. Okay, over low tensile strength we are overcoming by reinforcing the concrete with the embedded steel inside. But how to overcome this poor ductility of concrete? Okay, because yeah, that's what we have seen. Few slides already we have seen in the last class, right? So this I told you already. What is mean by brittle material? What is ductile material and all? It's the basics that you are already aware of. I also explained in the last class. Okay, and also we have seen the stress strain curve for to explain the significance of confinement, the importance of confinement. I would like to start with the basics, the fundamentals. Okay. The load deformation curve of the concrete or stress strain curve of the concrete. Okay, I have shown the stress strain curve for concrete, various grades of concrete. Higher the grade of concrete, poor will be it's more brittle. Higher the grade, more brittle will be the concrete. Okay, that's what I told you. When compared to M20 concrete, M60 grade concrete is more brittle, right? Because it's the post-peak behavior comes down, reduces because the ascending part falls down drastically. Okay, that's what I shown you. This basics also you are aware of. Already I told you, right? That is why precise concrete. Okay, I don't want to confuse by telling all other explanation. So okay, let's just listen. Sustain curve relationship for steel. This also you are aware. Okay, so initially it follows Hooke's law. Stress is proportional to strain, and then the phenomenon of yielding is shown. Then there is a point of strain hardening, and then it shows nice strain hardening behavior, right? And it attains the peak, ultimate strength. Then again the curve falls down due to the phenomenon of formation of neck or waist formation, reduction cross section, and finally it fails. Okay, this sustain curve for concrete, steel is well known to you, right? Next, owing to the poor ductility of concrete, the following disadvantages were felt. In the last class I told you, right? I hope you will be remembering all these points we have seen in the last class. Okay, actually the concrete structure subject to dynamic forces such as earthquake and blast forces fail without giving sufficient warning, as they are not able to absorb strain energy as efficiently as steel structures. Even under static loads, indeterminate concrete structures fails prematurely before the ultimate load is reached. See here, actually our concrete structures are fortunately our structures which we are dealing, our civil engineering structures, especially building frames, they are indeterminate. What is going to be indeterminate? There are redundant members, excessive member present it. They are not just stable, they are overstable. That is why we allow formation of hinges to dissipate energy in this structure. By allowing hinges, okay, we permit hinges to form in the potential plastic hinge zones, and allow plastification there, and allow the hinge to undergoing large inelastic deformation without losing its strength, and thus the frame dissipate the energy. Okay, because of the redundant frame present, the stability of the structure will not be destroyed. You know what is just stable and overstable. In a just stable structure, that is a determinate structure, removal of any member will destroy its stability. Okay, but in an indeterminate structure, that is a redundant structure or overstable structures, removal of any of its member will not destroy its stability. Okay, that this one we are exploiting, we are well utilizing, permitting the damages to happen, hinges to form in our structure. Okay, so this indeterminate structures fails prematurely before the ultimate load level is reached. It means what? Hinges forms in the beams, you know, at the critical zones where the hogging bending moment is high, near to the column. Okay, the hinges are forming in the beam at the ends. No, the end hinges there's a sequence of hinge formation, hierarchy of hinge formation is there in that. Okay, if the, how to say, if the redistribution of moment don't take place properly, the frame will fail prematurely. That's what the point says. It's a very research-oriented point, right? Very high level discussion, this one. Okay, I'm talking in a PhD level discussion with you. Okay, that is why the rotation capacity or redistribution of moments are to be permitted, to be improved in a building frame, so as to avoid its premature failure, okay, before its ultimate load level is reached. Okay, that's what. Stresses due to foundation settlement, accidental overloads, and volume changes of concrete cannot be accommodated effectively. That is another disadvantage involved due to poor ductility of concrete. High strength steel cannot be economically used. Even high strength concrete you are using in your RC structure cannot be economically used. Okay, these are the advantages felt due to the poor ductility property of concrete. But we can overcome that. This discussion, and also I read out in the last class you have gone through. Many points are research-oriented points. Okay, since you happen to be PhD student, I just am telling. See, confinement. The ductility of concrete is being improved at present by confining it in steel binders. That point alone, remember. Ductile concrete. The ductility of concrete is being improved at present by confining it in steel binders, as ties in compression member and as stirrups in beams. Okay, so the ties provided in compression member like column, and stirrups provided in flexural member like beams. Okay, they involved in the confinement action. That's what the ductility of concrete is being improved at present by confining it by the ties and stirrups. Okay, that's what this point is very important for you. Okay, and then concrete confined by, that's what this is the one. See, actually, what is the confinement mechanism involved? If you look at the last class, I told you, you take a concrete cylinder, okay, or a prism. The concrete prism you take, not cylinder. Just you take a prism of some height. Say, okay, okay, concrete cylinder, some pedestal concrete, small short column you take of concrete, plain concrete. Okay, you apply load and monitor the strain by putting some compressor meter or something, so highly sophisticated device. You keep it there and monitor the strain. You plot stress strain curve. Okay, you'll be getting the stress strain curve as you know, the stress strain curve for plain concrete. Okay, now you confine it with some discrete laterals. You put laterals at some spacing, say 150 mm spacing. You provide laterals first. Okay, otherwise at 300 mm spacing, maximum spacing will take 300 mm. Okay, 1 feet. That is 1 foot. That's 1 foot. No, 1 foot. 300 mm, 30 centimeter. Center to center, you place the laterals. Okay, lateral ties in that one, and then you apply load and see how the stress strain curve changes. You can see the post peak behavior improves. Improvement in the post peak behavior or post elastic behavior, post ultimate behavior. There is improvement in it. The failure strain also shifted. Okay, earlier the failure strain was for plain concrete 0.0035. Now you will see the plain failure strain goes much higher value. Okay, that you can observe, right? Again, reduce the spacing between the laterals, the discrete laterals. Okay, reduce its spacing to say 150 mm now. Again, you apply load and monitor the strain, plot stress strain curve. You can see further the curve, the post elastic behavior increases, the inelastic strain increases, the failure strain increases. That you can observe. Okay, again reduce the spacing between the laterals to 75 mm apart. You put it, again apply load. Okay, you can see, you can happen to see, you can see the curve still improves. Okay, the stress strain curve still improves. It undergoes large inelastic deformation without a significant loss of strength. Without losing its strength, it undergoes. You can observe failure strain also will be increasing. Some ultimate strength also will be increasing. All this, you know, improvement in the mechanism, this mechanical behavior of the concrete, you can observe. So that is the confinement mechanism. Okay, confinement. So we can achieve ductility through the confinement mechanism, through the confinement action. This is the mechanism of action involved in confinement. Okay, that's what. How does it happen? Actually, when you take, if you take a plain concrete and apply load, you are applying load only in the uniaxial direction. Okay, uniaxial direction. So when the first the concrete specimen deform elastically. Once the elastic range is finished, it enters to plastic range. Okay, when it deforms plastically, what happens? The concrete dilates laterally or pushed laterally. That is confined by the confinement reinforcement provided. Okay, so thus the laterals provided will not allow it to dilate or will not allow the concrete to push it laterally. It will cause the constraints, restraint to it, confinement pressure on the concrete. Thus, the concrete will be put under triaxial state of stress. From uniaxial state of stress to it, now the specimen will be under triaxial, both say the direction in which you are applying load, take it as the x, and the other two mutually perpendicular direction, take it as x, y and z. All the x, y, z direction, the concrete is under stress now. We call it as triaxial state of stress. Thus, its failure strain increases. Okay, its post-elastic behavior increases. It undergoes large inelastic deformation without losing its strength. It's capable of taking a significant load by undergoing large deformation. This is a mechanism of confinement involved. Okay, this way we are achieving ductility in our concrete. That's what. Okay, that's what I have explained in a very high-level language of research-oriented language. Okay, you are PhD student, but this is I'm telling, right? So confinement by spirals or hoops are being provided this way. Okay, here if you provide confinement with a circular hoop, the confinement pressure will be uniform. Okay, always the circular hoop is advantageous. Okay, circular column, if you provide circular hoop, it will offer 100% full confinement. It will involve in full confinement action. But in practice, we mostly deal with the rectangular column. Okay, square or rectangular column, in which am I visible now? Am I visible now?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, see, any interruption if you face, please let me to know, because I am handling class from our college. Our college net problem, no? Suddenly it will go, it will come. Some internet connectivity issues are there in the college. Okay. If any interruption is there, immediately let me to know. Ask Musikiran, you immediately make phone call to me. Okay, I will continue. I will continue now. Right? Oh, I have to present my screen. Yeah, I have to present my screen. No, yeah. Then only you can able to see. Right. I'll present it. Now my screen is being presented. Don't wait. Immediately let me to know. Right? Some internet connectivity suddenly disconnects. Okay, it's not continuing continuously college connection. So let me to know, right? Okay, I will proceed. Have you heard what I told in the previous discussion? I don't know. It's okay. It's not important. So see, these slides and all I collected from various sources. I told you that to FEMA, Federal Emergency Management Agency, ATC, Applied Technological Council. From such sources I have collected of international standard. Okay, that's why the unit will not be in SI units. Many times the units will be in PSI, pounds per square inch, inch by inch. Okay. Strain is no unit, inch by inch or mm by mm or centimeter by centimeter, whatever it is. No unit for strain. For stress, it is given in PSI, pounds per square inch. Okay, no problem. But one thing you can see, what is if it is unconfined, likewise. Okay. If the strength, if the grade of the concrete increases, the curve will be, the ascending part falls down. Okay, its post-elastic behavior is very poor because it falls down drastically. But when it is low-grade concrete, its post-elastic behavior was somewhat okay. Okay, since it falls down, we have to make it straight like this. Okay, how to improve its post-elastic behavior is that we are achieving through confinement. Okay, unconfined concrete sustained behavior for various grades of concrete. Okay. Higher the grade, more brittle will be the material. That's what I want to say once again, right? So now I will go to idealized sustained behavior of unconfined concrete. See, idealized, that you won't get curve this much smoothly. Okay, when you plot a sustained curve in the laboratory, the points will scatter. Since concrete is a highly heterogeneous and multi-phase material, and moreover, there are limitations involved in conducting the experiment with 100% perfection. What will happen? The points will scatter here and there. In that, we are drawing a smoothened curve. That's why it is called idealized sustained behavior of unconfined concrete. Okay, the ultimate strain is around 0.002 somewhere. Here, ultimate somewhere 0.002 or 0.025 something. The failure strain will be 0.0035. Okay, this is for a plain concrete. Next, concrete confinement. Concrete confinements are provided this way. Okay, if it's a circular concrete, we are providing laterals like this. If it is a rectangular concrete, we provide confinement like this. I already told you, a circular confinement will not offer full confinement action. It will offer only partial confinement action because the ring, the circular, the rectangular or square ties tends to become circular. Okay, when the concrete is pushed laterally. In order to improve, in order to make it to offer good confinement action, what we do, we also provide cross ties like this. They are called cross ties. Okay, if you provide cross ties like this, it can offer good confinement pressure on the core concrete. When the core concrete are pushed laterally, okay, this lateral cross ties provided and this rectangle, this square ties will offer, get involved in good confinement action. As well as this way also, the cross ties can be provided this manner also, this fashion also, ties can be provided. Thus, we can improve the confinement pressure offered by this kind of square ties or rectangular ties by providing cross ties like this. Okay, overlapping rectangular hoops with the cross ties. Okay, this is called overlapping rectangular hoops. Overlapping rectangular hoops. This way, we can improve its confinement pressure. Okay. Confinement by transverse bars. Okay, this transverse bars also involved in the longitudinal bar provided, also involved in offering confinement pressure at corner. Okay, confinement by longitudinal bars. Okay, longitudinal bars, it offers at corners, longitudinal bars. This lateral ties, this kind of cross ties provided, offer confinement pressure as shown in this figure here. Okay, so thus the confinement pressure. The offer of confinement pressure by the laterals can be enhanced, improved. So various reinforcement involves in confinement action. Even the longitudinal bar provided also involved in confinement action at the corners. Okay, that's what. Next, concrete confinements, several confinement, how to say, how to design, how the confinements are being provided is shown here in this figure. Okay, again, confinement, some I took from some other source, right? So with the cross ties, okay, rectangular ties with the cross ties provided here, okay? So confinement by longitudinal bars, confinement by transverse bars, rectangular hoops with the cross ties. Later I will be sending this video, I will be sharing it in YouTube. You can see it, okay? This figure will be available. Even if you want to take notes, you can note down whatever point you are in which you are interested, you can note down, no problem. Whatever point you want to note down, you can note down. Very good. So confined concrete sustained behavior. Confined concrete sustained behavior. Once again, we are telling. See here, this blue color, no confinement. This one. This is without confinement. Okay. See, I told you I took this slide from international standard sources. Okay. That is why the unit will not be in SI. They are in this PSI, pounds per square inch, and other this thing. No problem. Just you listen. You have to understand, that is important. No confinement. This sustained curve is for with no confinement. If the the spacing between the laterals is 4 to 4.75 inch. This is the behavior, the pink one. Okay, the red one, the spacing between the laterals is reduced to 3.5 inch. So the sustained curve improves. The post peak behavior enhanced. The spacing between the laterals further reduced to 2.375 inch. So the post peak behavior increased like this. So the spacing between the laterals further reduced to 1.75 inch. So the post peak behavior improved very nicely in this curve. So this shows a test on 6 inch by 12 inch cylinder, like our 150 mm by 300 mm cylinder. Okay, 6 inch by 12 inch means 150 mm by 300 mm cylinder spacing. This spacing also, if you want to, you can convert it into our this one, our mm. What is 1 inch? Around 250 mm, no. 1.75 inch means say 400 mm something. Okay, you can convert, because 1 inch equal to 2.54 centimeter. Okay, 254 mm, so around approximately. So we can convert into mm and visualize how this, if the spacing between the laterals is reduced, okay, how this sustained behavior improves. That's what this curve shows. Okay, so I will go to the next slide. This what? Idealized sustained behavior of confined concrete. This is called a Kent and Park model. This is the actual one. It has been idealized. Okay, so this is okay. See here with the no hoops, blue one, 4 inch spacing. Okay, laterals with the 4 inch spacing. This is the curve. 6 inch spacing. This is the curve. Green one. Sorry, red one. This is the curve. 9 inch. Some mistake happened. It's okay. It reduces. I'm sorry. Mistakenly I told you. No hoop, blue one. Okay. With the 12 inch spacing, this violet one. With the 9 inch spacing, green one. We are reducing the spacing. With 6 inch spacing, this red one. With 4 inch spacing, this pink one. Okay. If the spacing is 4 inches, okay, between the hoops, say 100 mm. 100 mm means this is the behavior, post peak behavior, right? 6 inch means 150 mm. 4 inch means 100 mm. 6 inch means 150 mm. Okay. 12 inch means 300 mm. 9 inch means to how much? 150, 300, somewhere 270 mm. Okay. So you can visualize this. If you reduce the spacing between the laterals, how this post peak behavior, this is called peak, no, this is called post peak behavior of the curve improves. This is called Kent and Park model. Okay, see, this is a simple sustained curve, but investigator in the long back established it in the literature as model. See, Kent and Park model. This Park might be a professor of University of Canterbury, Churchgate, New Zealand. Okay, there was a professor Park and Pauley. Park is no more, I think. Pauley still is there. Okay, Kent and Park model. Okay, sustained relationship for concrete. Sustained relationship for concrete, unconfined and confined. Again, it shows the insignificance of confinement. This is the multilinear curve of unconfined. The curve is drawn as a multilinear. Okay, unconfined. This is confined one. When you confine the concrete, it's a sustained curve, although it's a multilinear. the curve is instead of drawing in a smooth manner, it is drawn in a multilinear manner. Okay, so it improves. That's what again and again I want to say. If you improve the confinement, okay, right. That's what. This is also another famous model, Mander's restraint curve model. Mander's restraint curve model. Okay, one of my known professor's daughter is doing PhD with this Professor Mander. Okay, in the United States, he's a professor there. One of my well-known professor's daughter is doing her PhD with him. Okay, so recently I came to know this Mander, Professor Mander. This Mander's restraint model also of industrial standard. These models were famous during long back, during 1970s, 75s. That time they were very famous models. Okay, this Mander's restraint model, unconfined concrete, confined concrete. These models were used in many design. Okay, of confined concrete. Okay. So just to have a look later, that shows the significance of confinement. That's what again I want to say. Okay, this is stress strain curve for concrete under uniaxial straight. Okay, so again you have a look later. This is not that much importance. Okay, not important only, but for you not necessary, right? Reinforced concrete behavior. Actually, some research-oriented manner I have the PPT. It's okay. You take a beam and test it. Reinforced concrete behavior. When you test it under point load at center, what happens? The concrete behaves, deflection will be linear first, and then it's bilinear. Okay, it changes its slope bilinear. Then the steel in concrete, because reinforced concrete no, reinforced concrete beam no, the steel is yielding. Then it changes, it's multilinear. Again, its stiffness reduces. Okay, these are the cracked elastic, uncracked, cracked elastic, cracked inelastically here. Okay, so it goes like this and failure takes place. Okay, this is load displacement curve for a reinforced concrete. Okay, it's a standard, its behavior will be like this, multilinear. Okay, so the failure takes place this way. Yeah, another important thing I want to tell you, slightly I'm deviating from my discussion of confinement. See, you should also know the concrete technology, some points. Why the stress strain curve of concrete is non-linear right from the beginning? If you do one thing, if you at a macro level, if you break any concrete cylinder or cube and have a look, okay, at macro level, you see with naked eye, no, that is called macro level. At macro level, there are two aggregate phases present. One is, there are two phases present in that one. One is aggregate phase, another one is hydrated cement paste phase, HCP, hydrated cement paste phase. Two phases you can able to see. Okay, if you test the aggregate phase, it behaves linearly and fails elastically. If you test this hydrated cement paste phase separately, they behave linearly and fails elastically. If the two phases are tested separately, they behave linearly and fails elastically. That's what this curve shows. Aggregate phase and hydrated cement paste phase. But the concrete, okay, when you test it, right from the beginning, it shows nonlinear behavior. Strictly speaking, it is supposed to follow the law of mixture of two components. When you test two components separately, they behave linearly and fails elastically. But put together, if I test it, it's not following the law of mixture of two components. Okay, it fails right from the beginning non-linearly. The reason behind is, as I already told you, in the link, there is a weak link called transition zone. Okay, that you can see at a micro level. Through a microscope, if you view your concrete, you can be able to see the third phase present in the concrete. We named it as transition zone. You know what is transition zone. The transition zone is porous in nature. Okay, because of more formation of, because the local water cement ratio is very high there, because due to owing to the surface tension of water, water film formed around a large size porous aggregate. There, the local water cement ratio is high. There, more formation of ettringite, okay, calcium trisulfate, aluminum silicate formation. Ettringites are formed, which are large needle type crystals, and thin hexagonal plate crystals like calcium hydroxide crystals are formed. They form a porous structure. It's a weak link in the system. Okay, even before loading the concrete, there are micro cracks present in that concrete. Okay, when you load the concrete, initially it is stable up to 30% ultimate load level, ultimate stress level. It is okay. 30% ultimate stress level, it is stable. Then when you load it further at 50% of the ultimate load stress level, what happens? They become unstable. This cracks grow in number and size and propagates. Okay, this cracks grows in number and size and progress towards the cracks which are formed in the matrix, cement matrix. Thus, the fracture mechanism takes place. Okay, that is why the stress strain curve shows nonlinear behavior right from the beginning instead of showing linear behavior. This is the reason behind it. This is well explained in microstructure of concrete by the Kumar Mehta textbook. Okay, I took this one from that, right? So this is called a interfacial transition zone. You can see a lot of Ettringite crystals, thin hexagon, okay, large needle type, prismatic needle type Ettringite crystals, and large thin hexagonal plate calcium hydroxide crystals. You can see very less fibrous calcium silicate hydrate crystals. You can see very less. These fibrous crystals are calcium silicate hydrate crystals, which are less in number, while these Ettringites and calcium hydroxides are more in number in the transition zone, that make the transition zone porous and weaker. That is the weak link in the system. That is the reason behind it. Okay, all these things just now I told you, that I have written here. At a 30% of ultimate stress level, the micro crack present in the concrete near the coarse aggregates the transition zones are stable. When it comes to 50%, at 50% ultimate stress level, these micro cracks slightly progress in size and propagates in size and numbers. Okay, when at 75% of ultimate stress level, they progress towards the cracks which are formed in the cement matrix, and nearly 75% or 80%, 75% of the ultimate stress level, they progress and join with the cracks which are formed in the cement matrix. This way, the fracture mechanism takes place. That is the reason why the stress strain curve of concrete is nonlinear right from the beginning. This also you should know, because I would like to tell you, it's slightly I'm deviating from your main discussion. Some additional information I am telling you. Okay, so this is out of self-interest I brought all these things. Transition zone. Okay, you can also see the transition zone. What's the time now? Just few minutes. Yeah, another 5 minutes. Okay, a transition zone, that weaker link you can see. Right. This is the magnified views of this is calcium hydroxide crystal. See how a thin hexagonal plate calcium hydroxide crystal shows. Okay, aggregate. How aggregate is there? Cement. It's okay. That's what. See, inelastic behavior of structure. Actually, the inelastic behavior of structure, how do we achieve? We should start from the material onto the cross section, onto the critical region, then finally to the structure. Please see here. It means from material means local. Okay, so we have to enhance the local inelastic behavior of the material. Okay, we have to go towards the global ductility, from local ductility to global ductility. From material means what? The localized manner. We have to enhance the inelastic behavior of the concrete material. Then the cross section. In cross section, it is called curvature. Its curvature can be enhanced. If you improve its curvature, okay, at critical regions, it is called rotation capacity. Moment rotation relationship can be enhanced. Rotation capacity. To the structure, the drift, okay, called be drift. The global ductility will be very good. The drift will be very good. Global ductility will be very good. Displacement, okay, drift or displacement. This way it has to take place. Slightly, I'm discussing some advanced discussion with you, right? Inelastic behavior from material, right? I will do one thing. I will discuss all these things because there are additional information. Okay, I will discuss all these things in the next class. Okay, so with this I will finish today. This is important for you. The cyclic behavior of concrete, and okay, it's important for you. Other things are additional discussion. Okay, irrelevant with your subject, not totally deviation. I will discuss in the next class. Just listen. I want to take attendance. Okay, very good. Almost all of you are very good. Attendance is there. Full attendance is there today. Okay, very good. However, I will record your name for attendance. all are attending class today. I am happy to see you all attending class today. Okay. So today 100% attendance is there from MTech. Okay. So all of you are attending. Very good. I'm so happy to see all of you attending class. You are sincere. Every class you are attending in full. Very good. Right? Since you happen to be PG student, you have to be sincere and you have to attend classes. Okay. Without missing it. Since it is online class, only half an hour is the maximum time. Beyond that, I am not supposed to handle because in online classes. So, okay, good. All are available, right? I will do one thing, right? First, I will do one thing. I will stop recording, right? So, bye to all of you. I will stop recording. Okay. Later, if you want to discuss anything, we will discuss. Okay. Right. Bye.